Is this the Rookie CEO podcast?
Yeah, I think we're in the right place.
Oh, Hev, it's recording. This is Fuzz.
And I'm Hev, and you're listening to the Rookie CEO podcast.
Today we are joined again by Beth Turner from Conversations Unlimited, my personal communication coach. No one else's, right? Is that right?
Just you.
Just me.
Just you.
And in today's episode, we're going to be talking about how to nail the 60 seconds, what to discuss, what to include in the 60-second pitches, which I think we all dread as human beings.
Yeah, and I think, I said before, I also like with 60 seconds, I think it's very easy for them to be boring. So how do you, as well as like what to say, how do you think people should best actually capture attention?
It's tricky, and I think people worry about them a lot. And if you don't practice and actually just nail your colours to the mast, decide what you're going to say, even if it's not perfect. I think if you don't decide exactly what you're going to say while you're gaining confidence in these moments, then the risk that you run is there's that sort of creeping death moment where your anxiety and your stress levels are building because you know it's nearly your turn, which means you aren't listening to anyone else's. You deliver yours, you've worked yourself up, you don't even remember whether you said what you wanted to say, and then you don't hear the people that come after you because you're kind of on the adrenaline come down. And I think a lot of that could disappear if preparation increased. So as preparation increases, anxiety decreases. So I think deciding what you're going to say, even if it's not genius. So to your question, what do you put in it? I think that is very dependent on where you're using it. I think people don't have the mental capacity to remember very technical things in a group scenario. So I think trying to impress people by making what you do sound really technical is probably not worth your while. If you can simplify what your business is into something that people can go, oh, that's like X. So if it's something that they feel they already know, it allows them to put you in a slightly more memorable sort of area of their mind. So I think to get 60 seconds worth of content to be memorable, you've got to get it through two audience filters, because most people focus on self. What can I say about me? How can I explain what I do? What do I want to be known for? Me. Whereas actually, you'll know, you drift off if the person cannot grab your attention in the first few seconds. And the only way that they grab your attention is by either doing something really odd, because strange is memorable, or they get through your filters, which are, is this interesting and is this relevant to me? And unless you can articulate what you do through those filters, you're on a hide into nothing. Yeah,
like I used, there's a financial advisor that in his 60 seconds, instead of going, oh, this is my name and this is what I do, he'd say, he'd talk about a case he had that week. Right. And it was always like, and then I saved him, and it was always like, say he's like, I saved him 40 grand on inheritance tax. And I've eventually got my attention, because it's like, wow, that's a hell of a lot of money to save. So rather than just going, this is what I do, it was like, oh, this is how I do it. Like, we did this and this, I've saved him 40 grand. And that would tell me so much more than going, oh, I run this financial firm and we offer this and this. It's like actually showing me it in practice. I always resonate more with those 60 seconds than the kind of pitchy ones.
That's great.
Because facts tell, but stories sell, don't they? And it's the stories that someone can give you that are far more likely to land and be memorable.
Yeah.
So I think if you can, so I always say to people, I'm a communication coach. I don't really expand beyond that, because people go, oh, it's a coach. They put me in the same box as a life coach, business coach, financial coach, whoever. Coaches mean something. Yeah. If I describe myself as something more technical, then people kind of think, oh, you're making me work a bit hard. I don't know what that is. Now, I've been in rooms where people have shared their 60 seconds, and I don't have a dog. I've got no intention of getting a dog. So if someone introduces themselves and says they're a puppy trainer, instantly it's not going to be relevant to me because I don't have a dog. But if they can talk about what they do through a story, then I am likely to find it interesting. So at least they got through one of my filters. and that then I will more likely to remember them if somebody that I know is getting a puppy that needs training. So it's relevant and interesting. Those are the two opportunities.
Yeah.
I use and coach with some of my clients. Have you ever heard of Donald Miller? So Donald Miller is a incredible guy who runs a brand called Story Brand. And he encourages you to introduce your business in 3 sentences, which you can do in 60 seconds or 90 seconds. But instead of saying, I am, this is what I do, work out for yourself whether you need me, he encourages you to say 3 sentences. Most people, ... I do this, ... so they can, ... So it's most people, I, so they. And it's really interesting. So for me, I would say most people lack confidence speaking in certain everyday environments. I coach simple to learn communication techniques and tips so they can feel confident and speak with clarity for the rest of their life. So the whole most people, I, so they. And to your point, when people hear it, they kind of go, oh, I am not super confident in every area. And because you said most people feel like it, then it makes them feel, oh, that's me, I'm not out there on a limb.
Yeah.
And lots of people need this. So that's what she does. Oh, do I or do I not want to feel like that? Do I or do I not want to feel confident to speak with clarity? And if they do, you're more likely to have got through relevant and interesting filters. But it also allows you to talk about emotion. You know, most people want social media that portrays the real them. I take time to get to know my clients so their business is always something that they can be proud to see on social media. It's not actually, I use this gadget and do these things and follow these frameworks. No one cares how you do what you do.
Yeah.
It's what problem do you fix for me, and do I want to feel like you're describing? If you can talk to me from feeling, I'm much more likely to resonate.
There's some amazing tips there. That was jam-packed.
Yeah.
Wow.
What would you do? So for some people, they use their 60 seconds. If they feel like the room already knows them, I've heard some people do, it's like more of like an industry update rather than talking about themselves. So kind of, how do you find that approach? Do you think it kind of works in certain environments?
Yeah, I think if you go to the same place or you're with the same community, you are always looking to come across as sincere or authentic. And in the first time someone hears your 60 seconds, the chances are if it lands well and you deliver it well, it will come across as sincere and authentic. If every week or every month you turn up and you say exactly the same thing and you are excited in exactly the same places and you use the same facial expressions in exactly the same places, it almost becomes insincere because it looks staged. And people are always trying to work out whether they trust you to be real. So if you are around the same people, I think the approach that you mentioned earlier as well, lots of people know that I'm a communication coach. There's no point in me saying what I stand for and what I do every time. If I turn up and say, as you know, my name's Beth Turner, I'm a communication coach, and this week I've been working with a client who wanted to achieve this, and this is the feedback I got. And that's going to add another layer of communication to what you already think you know about me, and it'll either make you like me and resonate with me and my style more, or it will remind you of different people that you didn't think I worked with. An alternative, I could say, I'm a communication coach, and actually, I read an article this week that said AI is now making up X% of communication and people no longer spend time writing their own presentations. If I want to be known for credibility, if I want to be known for professionalism, to be well-rounded, the more opportunities I can take to share pieces of evidence with you that prove that's who I am, then I should take them. If I want to be known for really caring about my clients, I should make sure every opportunity, once I've reminded you of my job title so that you can work out what I am like, that already exists in your world, then I should give you a story that illustrates how much I care about the people in my community. So it depends what you want to be known for and how you can just layer communication. People fall into the trap of vomiting. They vomit everything they can because, we speak at 3 words a second. in 60 seconds, you could do your 180 words. If you wanted to, you could ram 580, but you're not getting better value in impression if you do just speak at double speed.
Yeah, I went to an event once before, and it was like a regular one, and every week this guy would do that. He would speak so fast that at the end of it, he goes, did I get it in the 60 seconds? And it's like, it became comedic because no one was actually listening. They were just seeing how fast and how many words he could possibly get in the 60 second timer. But it becomes redundant because you're not listening. All you can think is, crikey, that guy is talking really fast.
And the thing that, if I could offer people one piece of advice when they want their 60 seconds to be memorable, it would be to slow down when they say two things. Firstly, their name, and secondly, the name of their business. The times that I hear somebody speak, and the only reason we rush through is because it's so obvious to us. It's our name. Everyone knows. I know my name. I know what my business is called. Rush, rush, rush. And you think those pieces are a gift, because when you speak, you serve. And I think when you give a 60-second pitch, your job is to make anyone who doesn't know you feel comfortable to come and have a conversation with you. Not to buy something, not to sell them something, but actually just for them to feel that they could come up to you at the coffee station and say, Hev, interested about what you talked about. They will feel better if they can remember your name. If you've rushed through it, they don't know if you said Hev, Helen, Bev. I spent a whole week in ski school called Babs because I didn't correct the guy, the first time he called me Barbara. And so, it stuck forevermore. So I think if you can slow down on your name and the name of your business.
There's someone I still respond to as Helen because they think my name's Helen and I go, yeah.
That was the first piece of advice you gave me, I think, was that we're just so guilty of going so fast on the words that we repeat constantly. Hey Hev, have you heard of IT Managed Services? They're an IT support service based in Kent.
Yeah, I've been with them for over a year now. I love being able to just call them at any point and they take over my computer and fix the issue so much quicker than spending hours on Google.
Why have you kept that to yourself all this time? Right, I need to sign up to these guys. What's their website?
It's it-ms.co.uk or you can call 01634 218 362.
What I'm really intrigued with from a communication coach, you're talking expert, basically, a talking professional.
Talk for a living.
What do you prefer from a networking aspect? Do you like the idea of 60 seconds? Do you more prefer the organic conversations that happen maybe at the Rookie CEO? Like, what's your preference?
I think what I like is knowing what I'm going to get. So I think that what you do at Rookie really well, and the reason that I came in the first place was that I didn't see it as a networking event. You said it was a community of business professionals, and I thought I'm all about community people. So if it had been a pure networking event, I might not have been as eager to come, but I wanted to hang out with people. And what I loved was you were crystal clear. This is, you can come here if you're founder, an employer, you're in business, come and hang out, and actually you'll learn stuff. Because I think there's not a great deal of time when you run your own business. And if someone can just intersperse your month with little pockets of information that help you run a better business, like winner, winner, chicken dinner, I am in. And so you were really clear what you stood for. And therefore, there's no need for a 60-second pitch. I love the fact that there's a name badge and people go, people take or leave a name badge. But if people have been really fast in saying their name, or it's someone's first time and everyone else is a regular, there's no name badges. That first timer would love to be able to say, oh, Fuzz, what is it you do? Just being able to say someone's name is an icebreaker in itself.
The level of engagement increases, isn't it? And you're actually listening to the conversation.
If you are at a different, more formal networking event where you want to, the organisers feel that there's real benefit, then I think they serve their community best when they just ask people to talk about something different. So they still get to say their name and their business, but this week we want to know the client you've been working with, or the thing that you're most excited about launching, or one business tip that you've picked up. So I think you get opportunities to see more. Otherwise, it just becomes a rehearsed, repetitious,
It's a pitch sometimes,
and you just tune out because it's no longer interesting. It might be relevant, but without them every now and again, I think you do run the risk of it. Some people who lack confidence would find it harder to say, I'm really sorry, we've been chatting for 6 months now every month, but I don't actually think I know what you do. So I think every now and again to have an opportunity, and you offer it with your speaker slots, which are also great because you encourage people to add value. So the telling the story, the talking about a client, the giving a piece of industry news, that is far more powerful than asking someone to come up and sell what they do.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Is there a reason that you wanted to
do it
like
what
that?
I love about the Rookie CEO event is the fact that there's no expectation that it's a networking group, and we want to make that very clear, because then when you are having conversations, they're a lot more organic. They're a lot more sort of they provide more value, because you go in with the intention that I'm going to learn something, and you walk away with genuine connections.
Yeah.
And the reason, when I first set it up, the reason I didn't do 60 seconds is because I've been to loads of groups, and say there's 20 people in a group on average, and you're number 20 to do your 60 seconds. I hadn't listened to any of those 60 seconds because, like you say, I'm waiting for my turn of what I'm going to say. I'm writing it through, and I'd look around and I'd see people not listening, jotting down little bullet points of what they wanted to say. So what's the point? If no one's listening, what are we doing it for? And I think that changes that if it's a more regular group and you get to know people. But I just thought, well, do you know what? That's why we then implemented, like, at the end of the rookie event, we passed the microphone around. If anyone's got something they do want to say, then they can say it. But you're not spending the whole night thinking, oh God, like, what am I going to say? Because I genuinely wanted people to soak in the talks and stuff like that without thinking, oh, I'm going to say this and then I'm going to say that. So that was kind of the theory behind it.
And it takes a long time, there's 50, 70 people in your room. If everybody had to do their 60 seconds,
but this is what someone said. They only come because they knew they didn't have to stand up and talk.
There's always an option to at the end as well.
Yeah. So and there's some of those people that were feeling that way that then were confident to stand up, or with a bit of encouragement stood up. But I think it's just tapping into those people that aren't confident yet. They might get to that point, but they're not there yet.
Hooks. 60-second hooks. You know me by now, I'll just randomly say something.
Popped into the head, so it's out the mouth.
Do you advise, so obviously we are content creators, we specialise in capturing attention within the first 3 seconds, using content obviously. Do you advise the same approach during a 60 seconds, or do you think everyone should be listening anyway, everyone's got your attention?
I don't know that I'm the best person to ask that, for I haven't mastered my own social media. I'm very much intention led. There are a few things I believe. If somebody is watching a piece of content, then I think that it should start straight away.
So with the 60 seconds, do you think the same thing, or do you think they should would you introduce yourself first, or would you go straight into, last week we saved £40,000 and this is how we did it, and then right at the end go, I'm Sam from Fuzzy Logic?
Yeah, and it's interesting, isn't it? Because I don't think it has to be a certain way. I think whatever feels comfortable for the person. So one of the reasons that I have encountered lots of people come for public speaking training and they want to speak at an event, but they've been put off because they think they've got to talk about themselves. And that's the most uncomfortable thing. They think they've got to spend the first 30% of the time they've got talking about their school leaver to today journey. And that feels a bit vulnerable. And it is fascinating when you say to them, right, no one really cares about that today. Actually, if you're going to offer somebody some information about you, just start with it. And actually further down the line, maybe over coffee in a conversation, a one-to-one later, whatever, never. People will find out that about you. So I think it certainly is a point of difference. If everyone's saying, hi, my name's Beth, I do this, and then you get somebody that says, this week I'm excited because I saved a client £40,000, tell the story, and my name's Beth from Conversations Unlimited. If you've got through relevant and interesting, they'll remember it. So I think you just try.
Yeah.
Some of it will feel really good.
I think it just goes back to what you always, you're part of your Bible, which is know everyone in the room and what they would feel like with what you're saying. Because obviously it depends, like a BNI group would be very different to a RCO group.
Yeah.
So if you were to do a presentation in front of a BNI group, it'd be a very different, wouldn't it? Because you're talking to the people in that room.
Very much so. And I had this conversation, I ran a workshop at the beginning of the week, and it's content that I have used and shared 1 million times, but I still wrote it from scratch because the audience is different. I have never presented to that audience before. So I take myself out of my seat into the audience's seat and say, what do I know about you? What can I guess to be true? And through that lens, you think, of all the things that I know, what would be the most valuable thing for you to hear? Because my belief is when you speak, you serve. And that's the same with the 60-second pitch. If you're speaking to a group of startup, they're young, they're just about to launch their business, they've not got a social media platform, they've not got a presence. Of all the things you guys know, you would choose 5 or 6 things that suit their world because you've bothered to imagine what it looks and feels like, what they would be worried about, what questions they'd ask, the hesitations, the hurdles. If, however, you are invited to talk to an audience of social media experts, content creators, creatives who do what you do in their own niche, you might choose different pieces of information from everything you know, filter it down and offer it out. So I think your 60-second pitch needs to evolve and have flex depending on who you're speaking to.
Yeah,
That's amazing.
for sure. I think so a lot of the things you say kind of go hand in hand with a question we had from a previous guest, and the question they left was, what would you recommend the best ways to calm nerves would be? Is there kind of a technique that you do? Helen spoke a lot about the bee breath. And I said
beer breath.
No.
Interesting.
A different choice. I said about you can kind of breathe in through one nostril and out the other.
Okay.
So have you got a tip maybe for someone that's got 60 seconds this week and they're feeling a bit nervous? What's one thing they can do maybe beforehand to calm nerves?
Prepare. So I agree with breathing. And I think the approach that I personally use to calm myself is breathe in for 5, hold your breath for 5, then breathe out for 5. And in the holding of the breath, it slows physiologically, it slows down the heart rate so you feel calmer. So I completely endorse breathing. If you are not excited to share your words, there's no amount of breathing that is going to make that feel like a comfortable space. You'll breathe your way into a coma. What I would encourage you to do is prepare what you're going to say and practice it and practice it and practice it until it falls out of your mouth. Then you can take a couple of deep breaths. And I genuinely am always nervous before I speak at any event, to any audience. I was nervous today, which is why I prepped. So you were laughing because I've got bullet points and I've thought of all the things that I could share with you about 60-second pitching and speaking at events and networking. What do I think I would want you to hear that could help and serve your audience? There is no amount of breathing that will ever make you feel more excited than knowing that you've got something that you think could help. And it won't help everyone, but if it can help 5% of the people that hear it, I feel like I've done a good job, because that's all I'm speaking to. The people that know it will get off on the fact and thinking, yeah, nailed it, do that, bingo, happy. The 5% that goes, right, that's worth knowing.
Yeah.
So I think nerves, preparation up, anxiety, nerves down.
And then what would be your question for our next guest? Maybe around the topics of kind of what about their 60 seconds? What's something you want to know about them?
I think people are motivated by two things, passion and fear. And I would love to know to what degree someone is motivated by the fear. You know, they're chasing something. It's the fear of not achieving this that drives them. So if there was one thing that they could let go of the fear of, what would it be?
Amazing. I love that.
Deep. I love that.
Always deep.
Right, so thank you so much, Beth.
You're welcome.
It was lovely to have you, as always. And thank you guys for listening. I really hope you took something away from that. I know I did.
Yeah,
sure
definitely.
Did. We'll see you guys next week for another episode of The Rookie CEO.
Thank you. See you later.
Bye.